Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Sitting on Robert Pattinson's face right now.
Oh, that's fun.
I didn't realize that until right now.
In what capacity could you possibly be saying?
In all capacities. I received a shirt with Robert Pattinson's face on it.
Incredible.
I guess this must have been for Christmas. I was supposed to move this down to my closet like 8 months ago, and I've just kept it next to my desk.
Yeah, it's your comfort, Robert Pattinson. And
it ended up on my chair because my cat likes to sit on it.
Sure.
But it's the kind of fucking it's one of those, like, I think the Twilight movies are awesome. If you don't think that makes me sexy and cool, don't freaking talk to me. I'm not even kidding. And it has Robert's face on it.
I mean, you gotta let the people know, what you're all about.
Exactly.
Right.
And I didn't realize that it was on my chair until like a second ago, when I felt a tag on me. So, in all capacities, was sitting on Robert's face.
In all ways except physical, I am Robert Pattinson.
Exactly.
On a t-shirt.
That's me. That's my truth.
Absolutely.
So anyway... Hello.
Hello. This is Into the Twilight. And this is how it is the whole time.
In all ways except physical, I am into the Twilight.
I am into the Twilight. Yes.
It's who I am. Anyways, Cody, how are you?
I will say, I have been on, my happy thing this week is that I've been back on my Dimension 20 bullshit.
Oh my god, I don't think I knew that you listened to that.
Yeah, I watch it because I'm a dropout.
Oh.
Which is probably not shocking to anyone who knows me. College humor was very important to my life and upbringing as a child.
Shocking, truly.
Slash as a young teen. So I like to check in on them and see how they're doing, and they're all doing good, cool things, and it makes me happy and proud because I'm like, oh, you're not just doing like bottom of the barrel nightmare material for the YouTube overlords. You can also just do cool stuff together. That's great. And so I watched Dimension 20 when it first came out, but also there's so many episodes and they're all 3 hours long, and that's a lot for me.
It is a lot.
But I started their little Harry Potter ass fucking miniseries, which is only like 4 episodes, and it's great. And I'm back in, baby. I'm here.
Hell yeah.
I'm ready. Brennan Lee Mulligan is playing, which is all I need and all I've ever wanted.
That like never happens.
It never happens, but I love it. It's very fun. I'm enjoying it.
Hell yeah.
And I'm back in the saddle. Absolutely.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Damn, it's been a minute. The last time that I was like in Dimension 20 was when the McElroy brothers did their little thing.
Oh my god, that is also great. Yeah.
And it was so good because Brennan Lee Mulligan is like fucking talented.
So good.
And it's so hard to find a DM that is good at their job.
Yes. He understands the assignment at every turn. And the amount of worlds that he creates just by his brain, It's like, how do you have that brain?
I literally don't know. And I'm always amazed, too, because he has different voices for people. And that's hard to do. So I'm very excited for you. I will want an update of this because I love D&D. So that makes me very happy for you.
It's very good. Yes. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm living. Funny enough, are having another heat wave here, which, last time went so well.
Yeah.
It was literally deadly. So that's great. But I'm doing all right. I'm currently very deep into the Olympics.
Yes.
Which is just providing just a little bit of dopamine for me. Just something to just, keep me alive, have something going, which is very helpful. My happy thing for this week is that Ted Lasso is back, folks.
Ooh.
And
Speaking of
sports and safe men and questionably fruity women, and I'm not sure yet, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up. Yeah. I love Ted Lasso with my heart and soul. In preparation for the season coming back, I rewatched all of it because the first season's short. And I cried the whole time because I love this show more than anything. If you have access, I think Apple TV gives a free week trial to like anyone.
Yes, anyone
and
who asks.
The first season is like so quick to watch because I want to say there's like maybe 7 episodes and they're all like 20 minutes. I highly recommend it if you need just like good, like pure TV that will just like make you cry, but in a like happy way.
Right.
And you're just going to be like, why am I crying about soccer? I don't understand.
And this soft man.
And this soft, safe man who just makes me laugh. And if you need that in a dark time, which I know you do, because if you're anything like me, you're struggling. It's a damn good show. And I appreciate it a lot. So that's my happy thing this week.
Love that.
We are not being paid by Apple TV, but hello, Apple, I know that you have money to give. We need money. So, hello.
Let's work something out, baby.
I have all of your products.
Yeah.
So, money please. Okay, we have some current events that are unfortunately haunted, I would say.
Yeah. It's the most cursed bunch we've had in a minute.
It's been a minute, but we do have some cursed. We have some cursed.
All
stuff.
cursed. Oops, all cursed.
Oops, all cursed. Christine, I would like to have that available for a Halloween launch.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Yes.
I know that you prefer to do spooky things, so you will probably love them. Okay. First piece of news. I'm gonna open up Yahoo. I hope this doesn't break my computer.
Yeah, it might.
It might.
It took me a couple clicks to even open up this webpage.
Yeah, this is specifically Yahoo News, but from the UK.
Sure.
And I, unfortunately, folks, have some bad news, which is that E.L. James is threatening to come back. I know that we were just celebrating that we have, like, the Wicked Witch is defeated. We've done it.
Did it.
But she's threatening to come back. Can I just say that I am looking at this photo that you mentioned, and it is really beautiful.
It's like literally 3 moods going on here.
Literally, like E.L. James is like oops all chest, which is me all the time.
Yes.
Dakota,
and big necklace, big jewel.
Literally
big jewel.
Dakota is looking very like scared.
Yeah,
with a lot
and, like,
of feathers.
She's about to go to like a high tea.
Literally.
And this is just on the way.
And Jamie is very like giving very like Zayn right now.
Yeah.
Very like is about to be in like a perfume commercial or something. Holly, do you agree? Okay. He looks like dare I say like sub? Like I don't know.
Stop.
You stop it. Anyways, so E.L. James made her first ever podcast appearance, and it wasn't on ours, thank Christ.
Yeah, could you imagine if we were the debut? podcast interview.
We would have so much
James.
to atone for.
Yeah.
She'd be like, so I listened to all of them on 2.5 speed.
Oh, God.
Because I listen to podcasts when I am in like, here's what I imagine. Okay, actually I have this.
How does E.L. James listen to podcasts?
She
Let's
listens to
break it down.
podcasts on 2.5 speed in one of those like, in one of those little like water tanks where you feel like you're in space. What are those called? I want to say they're
Something
like
chambers.
Yes. Where you feel like you are.
It's kind of like you're floating. Like it's like, you know, submerged.
That's what I feel like. That's her like homeostasis. Is like she is in one of those little like hydropods at all times.
At all times, yeah, just
consistently listening to like content, being like fed it at like 2.5 speed.
Oh God.
Podcasts, radio, news, all of it, 2.5 speed. And when
she's a busy woman, I guess.
She's got it. She needs it constantly. She needs to be fed content. And when her husband or her dogs need her, she like comes out of her hydropod and is like, what? And so that is how she has like absorbed all of our content.
Yeah.
And she comes out of her hydropod like too hydrated. Like, look at her skin. Weirdly hydrated for a woman who is tan as well. She comes out and she's like, so I've listened to 5 years of your podcast over the past 2 weeks. I've heard what you've said about me. You need to atone. Like, I wouldn't say sorry to her face. I wouldn't believe it, but I would.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know. I feel like she could kill me, probably.
She has people.
She has people.
And also just her stare, you know? That's enough. Her gaze.
Oh my God. Yeah. And like, we've seen her house. We know how many Christmas decorations are just like all about.
Just at all times.
I feel like her house is a maze.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about her weird energy. Aside from the fact that like she wrote those books, you know, like weird vibes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she was on this podcast, right? She talks about the fact that like Christian and Anna are like always in her head. Super normal thing to say. So she was like,
they haven't left my brain.
And so when she was talking with this podcast host, who shall not be named because I don't know them, and also their podcast is White Wine Question Time. They. E.L. James was like, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. I think Christian and Anna will continue bumbling away in the background and hopefully behaving themselves. So,
Miss James,
please
stop.
Please stop.
Let's stop.
What else could you possibly do? You've done the story from Anna's perspective. You've done the whole thing again from Christian's perspective. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Please.
Give it a rest.
What are you going to do? From the kid's perspective? Stop.
Right. No. Oh, God, no.
It's
Absolutely
a crime.
Not. Yeah, how about, don't you have another fucking fairy tale to bastardize and make horny?
Literally. I don't want to read a short novella about how Christian's kids get into crypto. I don't want to. Stop it.
Okay, you know what? Actually, though...
Fuck! No!
Maybe not the kids, but I do feel like if... Because, I mean, it's not that this is not set in today's time, but, like, if we got... Because the most recent book was published, like, what, this year?
Yeah.
I feel like if she was, like, really... Maybe in the most recent one, he is into crypto. Because, like, you know, he's just a big money guy that can do whatever the fuck he wants, and he's the worst.
Right.
I feel like he'd be super into crypto.
Is Christian Grey going to be fighting with... Could you just blank these out? With fucking Bezos to go to space? Like,
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's... I'm interested. That's a
because
fanfiction.
Christian's whole thing, right, was that like he was investing all of his money on the environment. So like,
right,
if,
he just burns it all down by making crypto.
Is he just gonna pivot into being evil?
Yeah. Right.
Or is he gonna fight if he's gonna really double down,
but
is he
Anna's
gonna
like, Christian, no, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You can't burn down the trees and the rainforest, Christian.
Yeah,
But
or
he's
is he
like,
really
"Babe,
gonna double down?
I could make, you know, a special coin, like a Dom coin.
Shut the fuck up. I hate it so much. Two different types of, what was the other one? It wasn't crypto, it was the one that was like images.
NFTs.
And yeah, an NFT that's like a sub.
Oh, stop. Yeah,
You
it's like
stop it.
yeah, it's like a fucking...
It's just a whip.
Some
Or
whips,
it's the, what was it? His like sex jeans as an NFT.
Yes. Oh my god. Absolutely. The sex jeans are an NFT.
It's the new face of masculinity is your sex jeans.
Right. Eat shit, Calvin Klein. You can have my sex jeans as a PNG for $1 billion Ethereum.
God.
Have at it. And the destruction of the environment as we know it. Have at it.
It makes me want to melt my brain.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, whatever the future is with this, it's probably not going to be that bad because we've conjured up something that is objectively the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, this is the worst thing that I could imagine reading. So whatever she is thinking has to be better than this.
Yeah. Unless she's listening and taking notes. And if so, E.L. James, please stop.
If it is, E.L. James, get out of your hydro tank and go touch grass, please.
Yes. Please touch grass.
Please touch grass. Anyways, this makes me want to... I need to go touch grass.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a question from one of our listeners. This is a follow-up based on apparently what we talked about last week. What did we talk about last week? I don't remember.
Well, us, requested a chart for all of the different vampire classes and how they reproduce or interact, right?
Yeah.
Which
is great.
Necessary. Yes. I appreciate it.
That's a great... Whomever suggested that was a great thing to do. So, Aaron, who emailed us last week,
Yes.
kindly providing some clarification about Vampire Academy, followed up this week with an illustration that apparently we requested. This illustration being a Punnett square.
Yes.
Of how the Moroi and the Hampir fuck. And if you're like, hey, I would like to see that, we've already retweeted it. It is on Twitter.
It's on Twitter. Go check it out.
So, Aaron kindly made this Punnett square, which is very helpful.
Yes.
To illustrate that, according to this, if I am understanding and remembering how Punnett squares work from, like, literally 11 years ago, that the Hampir are the dominant gene. That's what Aaron has said.
Yeah.
And the Moroi is the recessive gene.
Yes.
Which means that means that the Hampir, if they were both together and try to procreate, the dominant genes cancel out and does not create a child.
Yes. Which
comes in, this is important. You might be like, why the fuck is this important? It's important today when we are, when we get to our chapters.
Yes.
Because a certain couple causes a scandal. But usually, when two Moroi are together, they cause another Moroi.
Yeah.
But when one Moroi and another Hampir get together, they cause a Hampir.
Yeah. because they're so dominant in that bloodstream, baby.
Yeah, cool. Love that.
Science. Welcome to Science Corner.
This
Vampire
is a
science.
STEM-based podcast.
Yes.
Great. That is important for these chapters.
Love a podcast host in STEM. We need more podcast hosts in STEM.
No joke, Aaron, I honestly appreciate you making this visual because I will be referring to it often.
Yes.
So, thank you. This is another thing that I wish that Rochelle, I wish that you had done yourself in this fucking book. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. We have a Twilight backstory. Do you want to read it?
Okay. This is from Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
Hello. Who says, I finally caught up and have to share my ridiculous origin story so we can all collectively laugh at me. I have to preface this email saying I'm a grown-ass woman in my 30s. When Allie says she's the Crypt Keeper, I feel like the Crypt Keeper's mother.
Hi, Mom.
No excuse. Mom, I have no excuse for this nonsense. This is my confession. So, I love a very dramatic intro to an email.
Truly.
It's a high art, and you've perfected it.
Yeah, the fact that the title of this is My Shame.
Yeah.
Love
you
it.
really set the scene, Zoe. Thank you. So, I'm from New Zealand, and last year we had a pretty extreme strict lockdown going on for 6 weeks or so. During this time, I decided to do two things I'll never recover from. Download TikTok and read the Twilight Saga, which I had never read before. A friend and I decided to read them together for shits and gigs and video chat about it to help us deal with not being able to hang out. It started out okay. We discussed how toxic and awful it was, laughed at the nonsense, watched the movies, but then she, like an actual grown adult, finished the series and moved on with her life. I didn't. I was hooked. I got hooked on Twilight TikTok, joined Facebook shitpost groups, started following me. My partner's ashamed of my whole on Twitter, Twilight Twitter, and started listening to this podcast. And now you've got me reading fan fiction. My kids openly mock me. My partner is ashamed, and my whole life is now a lie. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm forced to act like I just had a bit of a Twilight phase back in my wild youth, if it ever comes up, because I could never admit to doing such a thing with a fully formed brain. It's so bad. This is the best email we've ever received. This is so... First of all, I'm sorry that we were part... I'm happy you're here, absolutely. But I am sorry you now have to live like a secret agent double life, Hannah Montana-ass life.
Zoe, I have a question for you. Are we able to make a button that has, like, vampire fangs on it or something that just says, "This is my confession"?
Yeah!
Because...
my shame.
This is my shame. Because this is so good.
God, I want this whole email tattooed on my back fully.
I have never heard shits and gigs, and that is great.
Hang this in the MoMA. This is
truly
crucial. If we still had the Library of Alexandria, this would have been in there.
It's in the Library of Alexandria, Zoe, because that's me.
Yes,
so
it's in Ali's Library.
It's in me. So,
oh my god, that is incredible. That's so good.
You have nothing to be ashamed of, Zoe, because you are safe here. Yes. We will only make fun of you, but out of live, laugh, love energy.
Right. Yes.
And not out of something that you actually need to be ashamed of.
No,
so,
not at all. Welcome. You're here.
You're here. And the folks that listen to this will, I assume, will just welcome you with open arms.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
And besides, if nothing else, you're from the future. So, no one should be able to talk shit to you.
No.
So, you're good. Don't worry about it. Oh my God, Zoe. Thank you.
Wow.
Wow, I love that. This is my confession.
This is my confession.
That's great. When we last gathered here as a team, you, me, Catherine Hardwick.
Right. Always in the booth.
Always in the booth.
So shy.
Listen, she's always here, but she's just contemplating, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't need to verbally contribute to be able to share. And that's okay. We got lots of backstory.
Yes.
We
got some school hijinks.
We did. We got lots of school hijinks. We learned about shitty professors.
Got a lot of names of people.
So many names. Rose and Lissa had their second first day.
Yeah, right.
Not their real first day. Learned about, We just learned about schedules, learned about stuff. Learned about lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we ended, obviously, our chapters with Christian. Yes. Who's very important. Because when we start...
Son of Strigoi.
Yes.
In the church.
He's an important person to know because he is an outcast.
He's not like other girls, you know?
He's not like everybody else. So that's important to know. And also it's important to know that Rose is in Lissa's brain right now.
Right, yeah.
But not tapped in. Not like fucking Magic School Bus, but like in the Bond way.
Yes, TM.
TM, obviously. So that's important to know. Because when chapter 5 starts, it just like continues. And you're like, why do I know about this? It's important because Rose is there. So that's helpful.
Yes.
All right. Take it away. I just wanted to remember. I wanted folks to know that I was paying attention.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. So we got Christian up in here doing his bad boy shit. But like Rose is kind of like, dude, he's like a bad boy. But Rose is kind of breaking down his deal. Because in the last chapter, it was basically saying that his parents were those bad kind of Strigoi, or like bad kind of Moroi that were like, oh, we'll just happily turn into Strigoi for eternal life or whatever.
Yeah.
And that makes him a little bit of a dirtbag because it's kind of like a bastard kid in a way. You know?
Yeah, are you like normal evil or are you like bad evil?
Or you're like evil. Like what flavor of evil are you?
Right.
So they're having this very like confrontational conversation where he's just like teasing Lissa and being like, oh, welcome back, like what the fuck, you know?
Do you want a pity party? Is that what you're
you want
here?
A pity party? You're so sad, like what gives, you know? And Lissa's getting very pissed off. It's like, I need you to take me seriously, you know? Don't be fucking rude. Right?
Yeah.
And he literally does say, like, he has, like, I can get hats, I can get little, like...
I know we're supposed to not like Christian, but this is not helping.
Yeah, he is very funny. He's charming in a way that's, like, unsettling, because it's like, man, you are big bad. But she's just like, leave me alone. I'm here to just vibe with Jesus for a second. And, like, have this little conversation with you. Can you not be such a fucking dick?
I loved that part, too, because he was like, I'm obviously only here because of the fact that Strigoi can't enter holy ground. So I'm just trying to prove to people that, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Why else would I be here? Because the fact that it's, like, good for your soul or whatever. And Lissa's like, you know what? Actually, people can be here for a lot of different reasons. Okay?
Yeah.
And even Rose in her head is like, okay, all right, fuck off. Like, it's fine.
God, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, and then we get so much more of Christian backstory, like his family and like living with humans. And he's like, I get it, you know? Like, I know what you're going through and like the bonds you guys had to do and like all that stuff. Like, I'm cool. I'm chill. I get it. Just being real sus.
That is important for so many reasons.
Because it's like, he's clearly the only one that knows that, like, Lissa and Rose have this bond. Not just, or not like, I don't think he knows about the emotional, maybe he does, whatever, but about the feeding situation that they obviously had to do, which is taboo, right?
So this is like strike 11, Rochelle.
Right. Yeah.
And for all of the other strikes before, I have been incredibly explicit.
Yes.
Some other folks have told us, like, all right, yeah, looking back now, it's pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. What Christian is saying here, and what Rose is saying in this memory, or not even in this memory, but like in this experience in Lissa's head, is just straight up confirming that this is gay. And so folks, we are... I like 60 pages in to the first book. I don't know what you want me to say other than this is like Christian is even saying like, all right, Lissa, princess, nerd. Everyone is trusting you. Everyone is thinking that you and Rose are like cool or whatever. Right. No one's questioned you yet, except for that story about all of these like random humans letting you take
which again was a wild story. Like, we could have come up with something a little more believable than that.
Right, exactly. And so immediately Lissa, because she's a shit liar, is like, it wasn't made up, actually. That was like completely truthful.
Yeah, it was for sure real. Totally. For 2 years we did that. Yeah,
we completely did that. And Christian was like, you are out of your mind. I lived with humans. I stayed with my aunt when my parents died. And then he looks away into the rain, into the window.
Wistfully, like, back in my day.
It's a strike of lightning.
Then. Yeah.
And he's like, it's not that easy to find blood. I know it was Rose that you fed from.
Yeah.
And so immediately Lissa cracks.
I know your dirty secret.
And Lissa's like, you can't tell anyone.
Yeah. And also in like Rose's inner monologue, she's making it very clear, very defensively being like, well, we never had sex. Like, we don't, obviously, of course we didn't have sex. Although the way I do describe getting fed by Lissa, it is like an out-of-body, horny experience for me. It is not sexual. There's nothing going on here.
Rochelle,
don't get it twisted, reader.
Made this. Rochelle, hi. Liking your book so far.
Yes.
It's fine compared to everything we've read in this podcast. But Rochelle, you made this monologue where Rose says, quote, for anyone else, especially a Hampier, letting a Moroi take blood from you was almost, well, dirty. In fact, one of the kinkiest, practically pornographic things a Hampier could do was let a Moroi drink blood during sex. Lissa and I hadn't had sex, of course, but we both know what others would think of me feeding her. End quote. Mm-hmm. Rochelle?
Hey.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Except that they are both feeling guilty right now.
Yeah.
Hello.
In a gay way.
In like a limp hand kind of way. Hello.
Yeah,
in a little like way.
You know.
What? Rochelle, what do you want me to get from that other than like in a hello? It's just so
Don't
overt.
Be shy. Come on. Yeah.
And so it's just interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Very interesting. And obviously, like, Christian's like, whatever. Like,
yeah, I don't
who am I going to tell?
Yeah. I just want to, like, hang out, you know?
It seems like he mainly just wanted to confirm it. Like, just don't fucking lie to me.
Yeah. He's like, I just want the tea, all right? I'm not going to tell anyone. I just want to know. I want to know for me.
Yeah, just don't... You can lie to everyone else. Just be honest. So, it's just very interesting. So
then Rose snaps out of her vision.
Which
and
felt
it's like
20 minutes.
Right.
But
it seemed like a long conversation because she's also like in the middle of training with Dimitri and she's like, fuck. Sorry, can we just not...
I couldn't tell if they were still walking or if she had like stopped walking and started training or
it's
how
hard
long
to...
it had been.
Right. And it was just clear that she was like, oh man. I would also like to see what it's like to be like Dimitri or someone watching her like be out of her body for like 20 minutes. It's
for
like,
real.
Does she keep walking? Does she just like sit down and like put her head in her hands for a while? Like what's the vibe here?
Yeah, is it like equivalent to disassociating or are you just like frozen where you are? I'd be curious to see what that's like visualized. So, super interesting.
Yeah. And then Dimitri's like, all right, can we just do this? And Rose is like, can I just go to bed, actually?
Yeah, do we have
really
to train,
cool.
actually?
I know I'm, like, legally binded by this set of rules here, but I just got here, both at this school and also to my own body and brain recently. So I think it would be cool if I just, like, took a little rest, if that's cool with you. And he's like, no. No. Not allowed. You're gonna feel like shit tomorrow.
Yeah, just because you've been awake
today.
for, 2 days is not my problem.
Yeah.
I did love that he was like, yeah, I mean, I don't really care. Anyways, go do these weights. I am, though, gonna go sit in the corner and read this, like, $1 Western novel.
Right. I just like my little, mass market paperbacks. My little stories,
Just my little books. I love this.
Little books.
So wild. Also, random backstory about him, apparently.
Yeah.
That there's there's another Vampire Academy.
Yeah.
Which is hello?
Yeah.
There isn't just this one here in Montana. There's another one, in Siberia.
Yeah. Vampire Academy 2, the Squeakquel.
The Squeakquel!
The Squeakquel to Vampire Academy.
Yeah, these great, really comfortable accommodations in our
it seems like
favorite
the
places.
fancy like the boarding school of vampire schools,
Yeah. There was also another thing too that I think he mentioned about like a lord that he was with or something.
Oh yeah.
That it sounded like died on either his watch or he was like on vacation when that like the guardian or the people that he was a guardian for died, which was like rip
because he went back to the school because they're like, we need extra hands, we need more people, and then homeboy got so
yeah,
it was
super
like,
weird.
Yikes.
Which yikes, first of all. So rough stuff. Bad backstory for this man.
Yeah, trauma.
Love that this God has a sad backstory. Good for him.
Right.
And also, I think if I remember right too, in that same conversation, he confirmed that the Psyhounds weren't from the school.
Yeah, because she was like, wait a minute, that doesn't, because he's like, yeah, we tried, to get you a couple times or whatever. We sent our boys, sent our hounds, whatever. And then she was like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up with the dates and the places. That doesn't seem like that happened. Or that was sent by them, And it's like, wait, what? So things are getting a little spoopy.
Yeah, things are not adding up on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, math woman gif brain going on here. Like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, things are not making sense.
This is not adding up.
Right. Which is not good. I think she does finally, after being awake for 2 days, finally sleep, which is good.
Yes. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
But unfortunately, if y'all have ever experienced this too, it doesn't get better after being awake for that long and then also like exercising. You are so much worse the next day after you do finally sleep.
Yeah, she is so sore. She's like, God, all of my body is bad.
Yeah, I felt so bad for her when she woke up. I was like, oh, dude, I know that feeling and I feel really bad for you.
Yeah.
So, rip to Rose, for sure.
Rip to Rose and her body.
Yeah. And also rip to Lissa. Because Rose is not happy with her for hanging out with Christian.
And then Lissa's not happy at Rose because she was in her head for like a long time.
Yes. It does not seem like Rose can do anything about that, though.
No. Yeah, she's like, I'm just here, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how to control this. I'm sorry.
I don't know what you want me to say, but like I can't do anything about that. So
yeah.
Sorry.
So sucks to suck, but
yeah. I was very curious about the end of this chapter in the classroom. Because it's very clear that it was clear to me anyways that the scene in the classroom was not what mattered, but the backstory that Rose was trying to communicate was what was important.
Right. Yes.
So I think they've mentioned before about this Ms. Carp, Professor Carp.
Yeah.
They mention her by an ableist nickname of, quote, Crazy Carp.
Yeah.
The way that I picture her in my brain is a lot like Professor Trelawney. I do not know if her visualization is anything like that. But
tea leaves, spooky.
Just very thick glasses is what it gives off to me.
Thick glasses, for sure.
But in the classroom when Rose is going to class, I think one of the flammable guy is there. I think fucking Jesse or whatever his name is was there, and they mention her.
Yeah,
for some
she used
reason.
to like wander around.
Yeah.
Campus at night, and there's like she's kind of weird, huh? Like it's weird that she's like here,
Yeah.
Did she have like that wild situation where she was just kind of like sleepwalking or wandering or doing whatever all around the school?
Yeah, because Rose had mentioned, and she like flashes back to something where she'd had an experience with Miss Carp when she had done that and ran into her.
Yeah,
when she was like wandering around in the middle of the night because Rose was like trying to sneak out. And I think Rose had like fallen out of a 2-story building or something.
Classic Rose.
And had said something like, go back to your dorm or something, like there are bad things out here.
Yeah.
And so there's, again, like there's stuff that's adding up. There's people out. Lots of hints that something's up. But the way that chapter ended, I thought was like really weird because there was something about like, hey, you should like come hang out tonight. Like, someone's got weed.
Yeah, it's like, are you on good behavior? And then Rose is like, I'm never good. Wink.
Wink. So it's just very clear that like Rose has been here for maybe 3 days and is already like, yeah, fuck these rules, actually.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this
It's like,
anymore.
listen, Mark got some weed, so
I need
can't say
this,
no.
actually.
I know I'm on the thinnest ice possible, but...
Just because I am a vampire does not mean that I can't have weed. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's not against the law. I think. I don't know how vampires handle drugs. I don't know the chemistry there, actually.
I just love that is available in this lore. Because if that was possible in Stephanie's world, you know that the Cullens would have had so much weed.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Everyone.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like the one, that it's the only thing that would have kept Alice just even remotely chill.
Yes. Yes.
I'm honestly on the fence with Edward. I can't tell if he would have been like completely straight edge.
Edward would be one of those people that get very paranoid on it.
For real.
And would just be like, just fucking fighting things that don't exist and just being like, I gotta like lay down. I'm not having a good time right now at all.
I believe that 100%, actually.
Yeah. But Bella, for sure.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's a Virgo. She would need it.
Yeah.
She would depend on it, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Her life source.
Yes, truly. But yes, oh my god.
Speaking of Rose being a good girl.
Okay, so I do need you to take us through chapter 6 and Rose's, quote, religious needs.
Yeah, so chapter 6, Rose decides that she has found God and Jesus.
Every single one of the books we have talked about has been oddly religious.
Listen, it's honestly surprising we made it this far.
Truly.
Without some really crucial religious component. But mostly Rose wants to do this so she can just hang out with Lissa,
Yeah,
I
get
it. In what she calls house arrest.
Yes.
Yeah. So she goes to like Miss Headmistress or whatever the fuck, and it's like, hey man, I know I'm not allowed to do shit at all, for sure, but like, what if I go to church?
The response to this was golden.
Yeah, and she's like, why? It's like, well, I have found God, for sure. And she's like, well,
isn't your mom an atheist?
Yeah, your parents didn't believe in God, so that seems weird. And she's like, yeah, well, you know what? I've found my own path, okay? I don't always have to be in my parents' footsteps, all right? I found Jesus. Can I fucking vibe with JC and Lissa?
JC, my homeboy in the sky. I need him.
And she's like, fuck, I don't want to do like a religious discrimination situation here. I guess, sure, you can go, whatever. And she's like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go.
And she goes to church, and it's like, fuck, man, I forgot how fucking boring church was.
This is long. They are offering me communion, and I don't want it.
Yeah, this shit sucks. Everyone is just singing, and it's so long, and I don't like this.
Yeah, I actually don't want to be here, which is rough.
Yeah.
Except that there is this thing called Shadow Kissed. Which they actually, which does actually seem to pique her interest.
Yeah, she's like, wait a minute, that sounds like something I'm interested in, and something that relates to me somehow in my soul.
Somehow. I'm not sure how, but...
And she's like, listen, maybe now I'll start paying attention and see if there's anything else going on here. I was sleeping for sure, but now I will pay attention.
Right.
But turns out there's not a lot of information, right?
Nope.
And she's just like, oh, so they just said Shadow Kissed and then that was it?
Yeah.
Cool. That doesn't help me at all.
Which is rough, right? Because then you have to, obviously, go and talk to the priest.
You gotta chum it up with the priest. Like, hey man, I loved your sermon for sure. Like, so good. Top 10 I've ever been to. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're crushing it. What does this mean?
What is that? And then he says, I did explain it about 3 times.
If you were listening to me and the thing I really prepared for a long time to show you all today, maybe if you paid attention, you would know. And she's like, fuck, man.
Would you mind just like repeating it?
Could I just get like a Spark Notes? Can you just like boil it down real quick for me, if in case I was like I may have gone to the bathroom. You know, I could have, you know, maybe I thought of something else more interesting than what was going on. Could I just get that, please?
But you know, like when the priest gives you that disapproving look and then he leaves and then he comes back and he gives you church homework?
Right.
What the fuck is up with that?
Yeah, it's so rude. He's like, listen, here's a book that you could figure out.
A tome.
A literal tome. Fucking Moroi Saints.
No.
Have fun.
And he says, the next time I see you, I want to know what you learned.
Yeah, he's like, I'd really like to know, you know, what you have taken away from this assignment I've given to you. Church homework.
No.
And she's like, fuck, this sucks. I hate homework. And I hate church. I
just wanted to know what this meant. Why do I have homework?
I was just curious. I wanted to ask a question. But then she's like, all right, I do have my boy Aaron here. Let me recruit him.
He'll do the homework for me.
He'll do church homework for me.
He loves the Lord or whatever.
Yeah, he's always got his head in a book with something. You know? He could help out.
But he doesn't do that. Instead, gives good goss, which is kind of the same.
Yeah, which is honestly what Rose really actually wants.
It's true.
The tea.
Yeah, this goss is wild.
Yes, what is this goss?
So this goss is wild. Especially because it seems like there's a part of Rose that seems to like this idea, except that she seems kind of like disappointed by this idea. So when she goes over and talks and sees Lissa speaking with Aaron, it turns out that two Moroi who had Hampier Guardians, the Hampier Guardians decided to say, actually, we love each other. We're going to go run off and be together instead.
Uh-oh.
Which is rough stuff.
Big bad.
Apparently this is, like, not allowed.
Yeah.
And there's a part of Rose who's like, yeah, fuck yeah, like, fight the system. And there's another part of her, apparently, who's like, no, I have been training my entire life to take care of the Moroi. Like, I want to be a guardian. Why would you also train your entire life for this and then throw it away?
Right, yeah. How could you?
Right. And there was a part of me that is a little bit confused by this because theoretically, could these guardians not have a life together and also have their jobs of being with, I guess, from what I understand, they are not just like choosing to be together, but they're also choosing to be like, fuck this system.
Right. Yeah. It's more
so
of
it's
like
both of them.
A statement kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? And being like, fuck it. You know, we're not going to like spend our whole lives trying to like be 24/7 with someone who doesn't even respect us or whatever.
Right.
We're just going to carve our own path because we want a choice, whatever.
Which I get. I think that makes sense. I think it is also, that's rough. Especially from, we have a narrator who does not believe that.
Yeah, right.
Is a legitimate option, which makes that difficult, right? So that is difficult. But I think that some of the stuff that comes later fills in some of the blanks here, about like why the Hampiers are the guardians specifically for the Moroi, that they're specifically like the quote best of both worlds.
Right. They got all the good bits from vampires. They got all the good bits from humans.
And then they don't have all the, and I guess they're not as like powerful as the Strigoi, but like they
Right.
they have the like heart, I guess.
Right, they can't have the determination to do anything.
Yeah.
And their fancy little vampire schools to help them be just as tough.
Exactly. So I think that it makes sense of why they've genetically been decided to be that.
Right.
But I think that it also, I don't know, it also would suck to feel like you only have been given one option.
Right.
So I think that makes sense. I was a little bit, I guess I'm just, after this conversation, I'm just tired of blonde curl baby. I am tired of her existence.
She sucks so bad.
I am annoyed with her existence. And I'm not sure. Her name is Mia, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't find her interesting. It's
like creating this little like subplot that's not anything. Like,
yeah,
I don't care about the high schooliness of, the girls fighting. You know what I mean?
Well, especially when
to make each other jealous, right?
When Rose could flick her over.
Right, yeah, she is a baby American Girl doll. She could
literally
just be punted away, And it's like, why are we creating these fucking feuds that don't exist,
Yeah, and at the end, too, when Rose is trying to go back to her dorm and, doesn't go to her, quote, house arrest because she doesn't follow rules.
Right.
And Mason is there, and we obviously know Mason. It's an obvious character who we definitely remember. Notable from several chapters now, who's done a lot of different things. The only thing that he says, and I guess why Mia's character matters at this point, is that she's not actually Moroi. She's not she's Moroi, but she's not royal.
She's not royal, yeah. Bum, bum, bum.
And it's Rose already knew that.
Yeah. It's not a big gotcha or a big reveal because it's oh, she's just, I knew that, but she's just trying to pretend she has cool clothes and that's it. And it's trying to be Miss Popular or whatever.
Right.
It's okay, yeah, that's great, Yeah.
It is, I do not find it an interesting plot point. I want her to go away.
Yeah.
But I guess the only reason why Mason is there is that I guess the equivalent to an RA comes by and is why are you two fraternizing?
Yeah,
Rose?
You are under strict orders, Rose.
I am a robot. Rose, go back to your room.
Get out.
This is a vampire academy with sometimes robots.
Yes. Sometimes vampires are robots.
Yeah, there's, and Mason's well, obviously, we're doing homework together.
Yeah.
What homework, you ask? Obviously, church homework.
Church homework.
Church homework. And so they look more into the specific section that the priest suggested. And I don't know why the fuck this priest did not just reiterate these 3, I think it's 4 sentences.
It's literally a paragraph. It is not. It's a big
so
burden
rude
on him at all.
He gave this whole tome,
a whole ass book,
a whole ass tome for nothing.
Just to walk around with.
I know, so rude. But it seems like it's very similar to what the boy on death's door was talking about. Is
right.
Mr.
Sick Boy.
Sick Boy, yeah. Of people with the bond.
Yes.
So I guess Shadow Kissed means bond?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit essentially describing, because at this point, like, Rose only thinks her bond is like this very unique, like, she hasn't seen it like historically, I feel like, in a way that people study it or talk about it in a way
interesting
like they would with other types of relationships and things like that. So seeing it in like a holy book is like, what?
Interesting.
You know?
Okay.
Like, what does it mean? Is there more? Because also Rose doesn't really know much about the bond at all, you know, besides what she experiences.
Sure.
Know?
Right. That makes sense.
And it's just like, oh, maybe there are people I could talk to, or maybe there's like more information, or maybe there's like, you know, other people like me and Lissa.
Hell yeah.
And it means something. You know, we got a little label going on here.
A
fruity
label?
one, might I add.
Yeah, Shadow Kissed.
Shadow
Even
Kissed.
Mason was like,
Yeah, Mason was like, this is a horny thing, right? And Rose like, no, for sure not. No, they're just friends. We're just friends. I mean, they're just friends.
He even winks. He was like, yeah, it's like code.
Yeah.
Mason gets it. Mason, true ally.
Yeah, Mason's
You know what,
on the
Mason?
inner corner.
I changed my mind. I do actually like you. So you can stay. Anyways, it sounds very similar to a D&D campaign that Rose is about to go explore and find out more about her bond. So love that.
Oh, yeah.
But we will, if only these chapters were titled with something, I could tell you, but we will just continue to find out when we move on to chapters 7 and 8.
Yeah. Who's to say?
Who's to say? But we have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Hell yeah. Thank you to Mallory Hardwick.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Katie Black.
Bow, bow, bow. Shout out to Kylie Minty.
Thank you to Alex Dornan.
Wow, wow.
Wow, wow.
Thank you to Carrie Goldberg.
Thank you to Mickey Meyer.
Shout out Rebecca Cullen.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you to Mulch Gray.
Mulch. Thank you to Taylor Brown Town Lautner.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yes.
Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Thank you to Bailey Christian.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you to Cassandra Bomer.
Ow, ow, ow.
Ow,
yes. Thank you to Kristen Strider.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you to Julia Stewart.
Pew, 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 pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
Ooh. Shout out Rachel Seeker.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you to Ashley Dragomir.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh, cool name. Cool name alert. Ooh. Shout out to Maddie Facinelli.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Boing, boing, boing.
Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you to my mom.
Oh.
Allie's mom.
Oh.
Your mom.
Oh.
Kelly Beck.
Wow, 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 wow.
Ooh.
Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Boing, boing, boing.
Bow, 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 bow.
Thank you to India Peach.
Pew, 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 pew. Thank you to Sarah Blythe.
Ow. And thank you to Laura 40.
Bow, 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 bow. And last, but certainly not least, thank you to Abby Penn.
Pew, pew, pew.
Bow, 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 bow. So, I have a fan fiction. It was sent in by Sam. Here,
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. Here is the note they sent along with it. So this is my favorite one, and I love it a lot. It was popular back in the day, and someone did a dramatic reading of it, but I need to know you have read this masterpiece. I have not read this before. It is it was written by Story Provider, but it is housed on Bad Fan Fictives.
Ooh.
The title of this is Twilight of Sunfall. The whole fan fiction is only 548 words.
Hell yeah.
I will not be reading the whole thing. The reason being is that calling this unreadable is generous. It is impossible to look at. But this was published by this Archives on November 26th of 2013. I don't know when it was actually written.
For real, yeah.
For real. I am going to read the first chapter, which I think is about 100 words. And It says, Chapter 1, Zombies Attack Edward. I'm going to attempt to make this readable. I don't know if I am going to do it all the way, but I'm going to try my best.
Hell yeah.
Okay. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to try to make it readable. I'm just going to read it the way that it was typed.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Okay. Sam, fuck you. Okay. Edward was gauze on the place near was Bella's home, and he looked at the sun to the sunfall and say, "That is twilighting, and something going to happen soon. But what?" he said to no one, because he has bad feelings of it all. Just then he sawed zombies. We eat use Edward Cullis. And Edward Cullen said, "You can try it to do that." And he karateed them in their hearts. But there was more zombie guys there too. "We will eat it you." The zombies yelled to Edvarf, but Edvard Sam, fuck you, used his vampire superpowers to kill them, but there was too many zombie guys. So he has to run to other place. Oh no, they's gonna kill Belle too. No! Then Edvard said he was have to find help, but soon before things is too late. End scene.
Wow.
That was maybe the hardest thing I've ever had to read.
I just want to apologize for whoever's transcribing this.
Yeah, hey,
don't do it. You don't have to do it.
Wow, that was tough, but I'm glad that we got through it together.
Yeah, you gave it your all, and I'm very impressed.
My
proud.
Jaw legitimately hurts. It was like seeing into the future, trying to understand what words those were supposed to be, and then continuing to read it anyways.
It's like those videos where they try to mimic what English sounds like to people that don't speak English.
Oh, you know? Yeah. No, I
where
can't imagine.
Where it's like your brain is in like soup, and you're just like, what? It feels like I should understand it, but I definitely do not.
Yeah, it's hard because my brain is soup anyway. And so, I don't know. But I'm glad that we got through it together, folks. So here we are anyways.
Hell yeah, we did it.
You still have plenty of time to rent your copy at your local library and catch up, to get a reading buddy and stay accountable. You don't have to read along, but you certainly can.
Yeah.
It seems like more than late, like more than most folks have actually been reading along with us, which is encouraging, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
But anyways, come along. You know, it's always good to, you know, have folks reading along with us, which is something, you know, gives you something to enjoy during these times.
Fun little book club.
Yeah, just a book club. But anyways, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
And get worked.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.